everyone, and welcome to today's episode on the Fashion Fables podcast. Today, I am welcoming Australian based content creator and podcast host Amber Lowther. Amber, thanks for joining me.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
So, let's get started. Can you just talk a little bit about yourself and your life leading up to now?
Of course. So, I've been blogging fashion and beauty for 10 years now. So, I started when I was in my final year of high school. And I really wanted to be a fashion journalist. And my biggest goal was to work in magazines. So after school, I went to uni and I went to Queensland University of Technology here in Brisbane. And I did a creative industries degree and I majored in both fashion and journalism. So that for me was great because it was combining two things that I really loved, fashion, of course, and then writing. So I did that over a few years and I graduated in December 2015. And while I was studying, I got an internship at a local magazine and I stayed there for about 2 years. So I was an intern and then I ended up getting a job there while I was in uni, working as a digital journalist for them. And then while I was there, I was still in uni and I went and got an internship in radio because I'd always had a love for radio. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I would love to be a radio announcer, but I never thought that it could be anything I could do. I just thought it was so hard to get into. Um, so it was quite interesting. I thought I always wanted to be in magazines, but I think my priorities and wants kind of changed. And I realized that if I had an opportunity to go into radio, then I was going to run with it. So I got a radio internship and I was there working in the newsroom, learning digital content, sitting in with the morning breakfast show producers, sitting in with a day announcer and learning everything that I could. I ended up staying there for a while. They couldn't get rid of me. And I ended up getting a job for the company on the Gold Coast, which is an hour south from Brisbane. Beautiful part of the world. So I ended up getting a job as a digital content producer, just a casual job for all of our regional radio stations around Australia. So I was doing content for them. And at the same time, still running my blog, still doing all of that. And yeah, just taking photos of my outfits. And I started kind of balancing doing all my fashion blogging stuff, doing all my radio work. And then in 2018, I started a podcast, Fashion Avenue, which is an extension of my fashion blog. And all of this while I was working. And by that time, I got another job in a PR agency doing content for them and um, kind of balance everything. And it was quite interesting. And then, yeah, I've just kind of grown since then. And I'm still working in radio in a national role now as a national digital content producer for the Hit Network and Triple M Network, which are both two of Australia's biggest radio networks. So quite big. So that's great. And then still podcasting Fashion Avenue. I started a dating and relationships podcast this year called I Met Someone. I do voice work for some magazines. So do like little microcasts for them 5 days a week. And I do freelancing as well. So I've been a freelance copywriter for years. So I have some clients there. And I just launched my own little podcasting services and copywriting business called Play Media. So got a bit going on. But yeah, it's great and doing so much in the radio as well, doing like an events writing gig as well, doing things for a smart speaker event guide we have going on. So a lot of spinning plates at the moment.
That's awesome. That's like inspiring for me because my major in college is broadcast journalism. So it's a lot of like I'm interested in like that radio, TV kind of aspect, but also have a passion for fashion, which is why I started my podcast. And it sounds like we're similar in that aspect. I'm part of the radio like station at my college, and so it's I like public speaking and that stuff. So It's great because I feel like having a podcast allows me to kind of use my voice and kind of have that platform to be myself, and incorporate like both interests. But that's amazing that you have gotten all these opportunities. And I think it's never, a bad thing to have a lot going on. I think it's always great to have, I don't know, just many options, as backup, or just because, I don't know, you always want to get your name out there and always
Totally.
just, I don't
I
know.
forgot to actually mention, sorry, that I did do in 2018, or was it 2019? 2019, I was on air on radio. So I actually built that up as well on the side. So I was on air on weekends. I was a weekend announcer for the
Okay.
Hit Network on the Gold Coast. And before I got on air doing like weekend days, I was doing like night shifts, and I was doing like 6 p.m. till 12 a.m. and then driving an hour home in the middle of the night, or I would do 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. a couple of times, or and then I finally started getting day shifts, which were great. But yeah, I did some on air announcing work too. So definitely, you can kind of juggle a few different things. You don't have to just stick to the one. And I'm a big advocate for doing multiple things. I get bored if I do one thing.
Yeah, me too. I feel like that's like that go-getter personality. Like you're always like looking for more, like you're an overachiever. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think having, I don't know, just more to add to your resume is never a bad thing at the end of the day. So, what about fashion inspires you to create your content on your platforms?
I think I've just always had an interest in fashion. I remember being young, probably like 12, and getting old t-shirts out of my wardrobe and getting my mum's sewing kit and trying to sew patterns in them horribly, might I add. I was terrible. Um, but I just really started getting such an interest, and I was always really interested in magazines, and seeing all the fashion pages really excited me. And, watching all shows when I was, in high school, like Gossip Girl and things like that really got me into the more of the fashion side. And I realized at a young age that it was something I was super interested in. And it's something I'm still interested in today. And I just find it so exciting. And you can look different every day and show different sides of your personality with the way that you dress. And I think that it's just such a fun way to express yourself. And I love seeing what brands come out with, especially our amazing Australian brands as well. And yeah, I just get excited by it. It excites me.
Yeah, same. I think it's something that is very individual to the person. Like everyone has their own fashion style and fashion sense, and that's what I feel like makes it so interesting because there's like trends and like different ways of dressing coming out each day. But I kind of think it's up to you to kind of, I don't know, get inspiration from that, but kind of make it your own. And so I think Instagram, especially, is such a great platform, to kind of be a part of in like the fashion world. Like there's so many influencers and things like that, but I feel like there's certain ones that like certain accounts that really resonate with you and me probably, and so I think it's great to be able to pick and choose that and kind of, I don't know, just be your own person. I think it's a great way to express yourself and, I don't know, just show your personality through what you wear. I think it's a form of expression, and I think you can really show your personality through, I don't know, just the way you style with the bell, or if you're, more simple, or you like more accessories, just like things like that can kind of show, your personality. So I think it's an amazing way to kind of share your passion.
Totally, totally agree.
So in general, can you talk about Australian culture and what it's like living in Brisbane?
Well, Australia's pretty laid back. We're a bit of a fun bunch of people, I'd say. Probably very different, totally different culture to the US. I have been to the US before, and it is quite different. It's a bit of a culture shock. Just yeah, I think Aussies, we're super laid back people, and we don't take ourselves too seriously, but we're really hard workers as well. And I love living in Australia. I couldn't imagine myself living anywhere else. It was so funny, back in the day, I was like, I can't wait to move overseas and like do all this. And I couldn't imagine not living in Australia. At least, coming back here, if I was to ever go anywhere else. But living in Brisbane's great. Brisbane is in the state Queensland, so it's North Australia. It's quite warm here. It's great weather all year round. And even our winters, it gets kind of cold in the mornings and nights, but during the day, it's like beach weather. You could go to the beach. And yeah, it's a nice little city. It's not crazy like Sydney and Melbourne. Sydney's a bit wild, and it's a bit very busy, full on, like always a rat race. It's just the traffic is terrible, but Brisbane is just more chill. It's like kind of a city country town in a way, and it's definitely growing and getting better. And I love it here. The weather's great, the people are great. Yeah, I think Brisbane just has a bit of everything.
That's awesome. I love hearing about like different parts of the world and like what it's like living there because I've only lived in the US. I live in New Jersey. So like I've lived here all my life, but I visited Europe a few summers ago and it was just like an amazing experience just to like get out of the country and just see how people live in different parts of the world, like their culture, their different types of food, like the way they dress. And Australia has actually always been a place I wanted to visit because I don't know, I just think it's so unique and like looking at photos of it, it looks so beautiful and stuff like that. It is super far from where I live, but I'm hoping to, I don't know, visit one day. But
Do it. Don't regret it. Trust me, you'll love it.
and I love like the explanation you gave that it's not like so crazy and stuff like Sydney or um, another city because I don't know, it just I'm not the biggest like city lover, so I like more like just like a chill like I don't know, suburban
Yeah,
kind of
it's
area.
way back here than
Yeah.
Sydney. Sydney, go, it's only an hour flight away from us south.
Uh-huh.
So going to Sydney, it's like, but it's so funny because it's like a whole different world.
Yeah.
Um,
It's crazy.
it's so busy there, but here it's just super laid back, and I live in a nice suburb, and it's just super chill. And I don't know, I like that it's a little bit more toned down.
Hmm. Yeah, that's similar probably from New Jersey to New York City because I live only like 25 minutes from New York City, but it's like so different. Um, it's like so different, like so much more, I would say, populated and like just like the city life, like so many tourists go there and so I kind of feel like there's like similarities between the
See, I
two.
want to go to New York really bad. That's where I've been wanting to go, but COVID kind of ruined my plans for
Oh,
that.
yeah, and they actually just fully reopened like everything. So
No, I need to go. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, I can make my way over.
have you ever been?
No, it's my dream to go to New York. Like, I want to stay there for at least a month so I can do everything.
Yeah, definitely, that's so funny.
Yeah.
um But would you be willing to share any insight into Australian fashion and what you see as popular and just like everyday life?
Yeah, so Australian fashion, I guess our designers are fantastic. I don't know if you've seen any Australian designers or come across any of their work, but I feel like we take a lot of inspiration from our culture, our surroundings. Australia is such a big, incredible island. And so I just feel like a lot of designers really showcase our culture incredibly. Like I know Zimmerman, they're a really well known fashion brand worldwide now too, which is incredible. But they did a collection I think last year, and it was all about kind of like 80s Australian vibes and kind of more retro Australian vibes. And they had like really cool kind of retro prints on their clothes to represent what Australian summers like and things like that from the 80s. And it was just really cool. And I think Aussie designers aren't afraid to push the boundaries and do different cuts and do different things that we don't see. And I think that because we have such incredible weather, all year round, and it's such a beautiful place to be, that we really go hard when it comes to color and different cuts and making things look just so wearable and things that you can wear in different ways and different styles. And yeah, I think I just love how we embrace that here.
That's so cool. I know Quay, I think it's called, that the sunglass brand
Oh,
is.
key. Yes,
Yeah,
key.
sorry. I didn't know how to pronounce it, but I think that's Australian.
Yes.
That's like one of the probably only brands I know. But
Oh, girl, I need to educate you on some Aussie brands. You're gonna love them. Oh my God.
but yeah, that sounds really awesome because I feel like sometimes like in the US, sometimes just like new clothes that come out that are like called new just kind of like repeat what's already been made. And so it doesn't really kind of, I don't know, look unique anymore or even like look desirable for me to want to purchase it because I'm like, I have something like this literally in my closet. So why am I going to buy something that's so similar? But yeah, I just love the idea of like uniqueness, like unique cuts, colors. I like pops of colors. I think they, I don't know, stand out, especially in the summer when it's like sunny out. Because here there's like, is there all four seasons in Australia?
It depends where you live, but I
Yeah.
guess if you live down in Melbourne or you're getting all 4 seasons in a day. Brisbane, it's pretty much just sunny all
Okay.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. Here it's like fall, spring, winter, summer. So there's like different clothing I need for like each season, and so I like to kind of mix and match like what I'm buying and stuff. So I think
Yeah.
it's I think the way you're describing like the Australian designers, it seems like they're not afraid to kind of, I don't know, make new things that maybe the buyers aren't used to seeing, but ends up becoming like really popular because how different it is and things like that.
Yeah, like it's interesting. Like up here in Brisbane, we won't get a lot of the time like a retail store. We won't get like a full winter collection from them because we just simply don't use it. We're not ones to layer on coats and scarves and gloves. Like we don't do that up here in Queensland because it's just too warm. But somewhere like in Tasmania or Melbourne, they definitely need it. It gets very cold down there. And Sydney can get a bit chilly too, but in Queensland, and you find North Queensland, so we're kind of in Queensland, we're kind of southern. So, like, I'm only an hour and a half away from the New South Wales Queensland border. So that's where like Sydney is in New South Wales. But if you go North Queensland, some of the towns there, like Cairns or Townsville, who are very north, they don't even see any winter stuff. They don't need it. It's so warm here all the time.
That's crazy. And I don't know, I just asked the question because I wasn't sure because like here it's like strictly like there's a few months of each season and like but I just like assumed it was not like that in Australia, but that's so interesting. I love warm weather, so I wouldn't
Depends
complain.
where you live. Yeah, for sure. Like it's so different. Like, if I went down to Melbourne right now, like it's sunny here, but if I went down to Melbourne today, it'd probably be cold, rainy, and just horrible. But up
Yeah,
here in Queensland, it's like always sunny, which is beautiful.
that's amazing. So are there any trends going on right now? And if so, like what are some of the main ones happening?
Yeah, so down here in Australia, we're in winter at the moment. So for us, it's all about, you know, puff sleeves. We're loving a good puff sleeve.
Mm.
Um, we're loving like long knitwear. So like whether that's a long, a knit dress or um, a lot of beautiful like long sleeve tops and pant combos in the same color knitwear is beautiful. A lot of people are wearing that, more like a flare kind of pant as well. And I'm also finding we're really loving like leather jackets that actually have like a tie up waist or that you can, yeah, tie up, whether that's, yeah, a jacket or a dress. That's quite big at the moment. And yeah, we're living for 70s vibes, which is my favorite era. So I'm very happy. So yeah, just wide leg pants, flares and yeah, just those nice, beautiful 70s cuts. And it's really nice here.
That's so interesting. That it's like the winter time by you because it's like gonna be summer, and on my birthday, June 20. So, it's just funny how the solstices work. But
Yeah.
um, Actually, here, I would say that leather jackets are coming in too. Like I see a lot of those like just like on the racks in stores, and
Yeah.
I really like that style because I don't know, I think it can mix and match with anything. But yeah, I don't think that like it's much different. I would say like the puff sleeve is popular here as well as the long dresses. So I guess it's similar in that aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so interesting to like see the differences.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love seeing what's kind of happening over there and in Europe compared to down here. Obviously, because we're in opposite seasons as well. I like seeing what you guys did last winter and how it affects us down here. So yeah, I love seeing all of that.
Yes, definitely. What is the most popular designer brand in Australia? And are most people like about the label or just about what looks good on the person?
I think it's a bit of both. But we have so many incredible labels, it would be so hard to narrow it down. But obviously, as I said before, Zimmerman is huge. I know a lot of Americans, a lot of TV shows and stars wear a lot of Alex Perry. He's an incredible Australian designer.
Mhm.
I also really love brands like Maury and Eve. Beckenbridge is an incredible brand. Shona Joy. Um, a few smaller brands like Alaya, The Label, Mossman. Um, we have so many incredible brands like By Johnny and um, oh god, there's so many like Maticheski, which is a huge brand. So luxe and so incredible. So there's so many incredible brands down here. It's so hard to narrow it down, but I guess we have different tiers. Um, your more luxe brands to a bit more affordable, but I definitely have a bit of a love for um, kind of mid-range, I guess, maybe like more of the designer kind of label brands here in Australia. So that's just some of them, but I could go on for days. There's so many amazing ones.
Oh wow. Yeah, I would say that here there's like the tiers too, like the most expensive, and then there's like kind of narrows it down. But do brands like Burberry and like Gucci and like Louis Vuitton are those kind of popular where you live too?
Yeah, they are. We see a lot of, people flashing their Louis Vuitton or Balenciaga shoes or something. They're definitely very popular. And, we have a Louis Vuitton store, a Balenciaga store here. We have like, some incredible big, luxury labels here, especially in, Sydney and Melbourne. Quite big. But yeah, people do love their designer here. Don't get me wrong. Like Australians can be very bougie.
Yeah, yeah, I would say that it's like that. I think there's a mix of people with like their fashion. Like there's some, like you said, that walk around like their Gucci slides and their
Yeah.
bags, their expensive bags. And there's the more simple people that kind of dress down. I've always liked to dress up rather than just down, just because I don't know, that's just my style. Like in the summer now it's summer over here. I'm always in like skirts or dresses. I'm not really, I don't know, fan of just like leggings. I don't know. Like in the summer, like when I'm like just casual, like yeah, but when I'm going out or like when I'm seeing people, like I like to be presentable and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, for
um,
sure. I'm the same. But, some days I have my off days. Some days I just want to wear a big jumper and
yeah.
jeans. But that's also the style as well, big jumpers and jeans. So you kind of look cool in a way. I feel like my style is either like I'm really dressed up or I'm like a hobo. There's like no in between.
Yeah, oh my god. I love sweatpants though, just like relaxing in them.
Yeah, I love my trackies, as we call them here in Australia, trackies.
I just like sweatpants, like
We say so like there's so many slang words we'd say, and you'd be like, what?
so cool though. So do you see differences in American fashion versus Australian? And do you personally have a preference in your clothing style? We kind of touched on it, but if you have anything else.
I don't know. I feel like Americans like, especially with your retail chain stores, I feel like some of the clothes aren't that exciting. Like, I don't know. I just find that there's something that you could have worn in the 2000s, like early, noughties or and I'm like, give me something different. I like seeing different things. So I feel like, you guys have what, like Forever 21 and things like that. We got a Forever 21 store here in Brisbane actually. And I was so underwhelmed. I was like, is this it? I was like, oh, like there's nothing special. I felt,
Yeah,
growing up here and, seeing something you really like in a retail chain store is quite normal here. But when Forever 21 came, I was like, oh, there's nothing that's really standing out to me. I just feel like I could go get this in another cheap store down the road.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's funny in that sense, but you guys do, your Lux, brands really well. And, it's just so interesting seeing how, you know, retail chains differ from, your more Lux
Yeah,
brands. Oh, sorry.
so I was never like the biggest fan of Forever 21. I feel like the material is not great. It's kind of like almost like cheap feeling. Like I
Yeah.
purchased some stuff from there and like I wore it a few times and like then I don't know. There was like a rip in it, you know what I mean? So that's not personally where I like to shop. But I do like Loft. I don't know if you've heard or Zara.
Use-
I love
I love them.
Nordstrom. That's like one of my favorites. And there's like a Nordstrom rack, which is it's called, and it's kind of just like I don't know, all the stuff that doesn't get sold at the big Nordstrom gets kind of put into the store, and it's almost like an outlet store, um, something like that. But my favorite designer brand or luxury brand has always been Burberry, and I don't know, I just really like that plaid like logo. I think it's like so elegant and I don't know, I never get tired of it. So that's my favorite, but I also like to do a lot of online shopping because I haven't been impressed with what's been sold in store. Like you said, like I feel like it's very just like like I don't know, can get this like
Yeah.
somewhere for a cheaper price. But I feel like back, I don't know, I kind of save my clothes. I don't really now that like my size is like stays the same, like I kind of am able to get like a shirt or two, but then like mix and match it. So it's almost like the same wardrobe but different outfits because I'm kind of just creative with it and kind of just change things up. And I think that's been really helpful. I
Totally.
do, yeah, I do love shopping in like little boutiques. Where kind of not everyone shops just because I know I can find something unique there that I don't know, it's kind of like not a chain store. It's just like one boutique. So all the stuff there is like handmade or just like very I don't know, personalized. So yeah, that's kind of like how I shop and stuff like that. I
That's
never
great.
really was a big fan of thrift shopping, which is kind of like stores that resell like
Yeah.
given items that they don't want anymore and like the store resells those. I've never really been a big fan, only
Neither. I'm not really into, we call it op
because
shopping. I'm not really into op shopping either. Like I want to try to get into it obviously because of sustainability and all of the good
yeah.
things, but I just have a thing about taking other people's old stuff. I want the new stuff. I want it to smell new.
And so you don't know where it came from and stuff like that. And the times that I've like tried to go thrift shopping, I never really found anything that like I loved that was like worth buying. So
Yes,
kind of,
same. I always feel like I'm going to find the most amazing thing and then I come out and I have nothing and I'm like, okay, well that was underwhelming. I didn't like anything.
I know I get so excited. I'm like, I'm gonna find something so good because people are like, you just have to like dig, like you have to be patient. And I'm like, I'm just not finding anything.
I'm not patient at all. I'm the least patient person. So there's no time. There's
Me
no time.
And finally, Amber, what are some ways that people can stay connected and just like follow you and keep updated?
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm bloody everywhere to be honest. Look, I'm have my fashion and beauty podcast, Fashion Avenue. Have a dating and relationships podcast. I met someone. People can follow me on Instagram at Amber Lowther. And yeah, wherever, I'm pretty much on everything. So feel free.
Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks so much for having me.